to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Ready to Love.
Hey, but before we do that, you know what I need y'all to do. Blair knows what... I lost my train of thought that fast.
Y'all know what we need.
Yes. I need it so bad I lost my train of thought.
Right.
Subscribe. Okay? Subscribe, like, share, comment, share your thoughts. We will read your comments. We will engage with the community that we have. Our goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I believe with your help, we can reach our goal together. Do you agree?
I agree.
I agree as well. So let's get into the show. This episode was very interesting. I had a lot of thoughts. Usually we try to keep our conversations to a minimum when we watch the show, so we can actually have some type of conversation on the show. But I couldn't help myself last night.
It was too good.
I couldn't help myself last night. And it was too good in the sense of conversation starters that got me hot in some of these scenes. So let's get started. What happened last night, Blair?
So we are on episode 7 of season 8. And we are in the men's lounge. The men have the power this week to eliminate. So the guys left are Herbert, Chris, Phil, Marie, and Quentin. And Tommy's curveball of the week is that the ladies will meet the men's exes.
Now, I found that interesting because I would think that since the men got the power, that they would meet their exes, as in the women exes.
To gain more information.
But it seemed like the men got the power, and they have to expose themselves to their exes. But at least they are protected by their power of not getting voted out based on what they hear.
And also their exes are supposed to be some type of vetting system for them.
Okay.
So they can look at the women, talk to them, and try to see, is this someone that would be a good fit for you, being that I know you as well as I do.
And this is a normal thing that usually happens on the show.
Yeah, meeting exes, meeting friends, family. That's all when we kind of get down to the wire is when we start meeting people's friendships, relationships. Okay. Last relationships.
So let's meet these exes. Who did we meet?
So first we meet Morie's ex, her name is Jessica.
Okay.
And he is expressing to Jessica that he's not part of an organized religion. He's spiritual, but not in the Christian sense of where you don't go to church spiritual. Okay. He is spiritual in the sense of, seems like tarot cards, crystals, energy, that kind of stuff. Metaphysical, I guess he was saying.
Okay.
So we have Janelle and Jessica who are coming, and they are both devout Christians, born, raised in the faith, and stand firm in it to this day.
Now, before they even got there, something that stood out to me that already let me know what was going to be like a bad time together. When they was kind of pre-gaming of what they was going to talk about. Yeah. They was talking about like sex drive.
Yeah, that was another thing. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think you should lead with that.
Absolutely not. like, especially at this early, of you not even being in a relationship with either one of them.
You just saw one of your counterparts get eliminated because of his sex activities and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm thinking like he is so, passionate about this black power, black people. I'm thinking we gonna get more in depth of the character Marie.
Yeah.
But although they talked about with spirituality and like sex drive. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then he go choose the 2 worst women, in my opinion, to bring this up with. It's like you're asking for it. But what happened when they all met?
Well, they all meet. They ask Jessica how long him and Marie were together, and they were dating for 2 years. The problem with them was the age difference. She is 41. I think Marie's in his 30s.
Yeah, I think the same age as Janelle, because I think they gave each other a high five or something like that.
Yeah. And the Jessica, who's on the show, asked, what qualities do you think Marie would need in a partner? And she answers, sex drive.
Man. Is that... Hey, Blair.
She had to weave it in some kind of way. She said she was going to get the answers for him.
What is your favorite color? Sex?
I'm like... That's exactly how it came across.
I'm like, what? And my whole point is more and more as like I said, this is my first time watching this season in its fullness. I'm new to this. She's true to this. I'm seeing more and more why these guys are single. Mm-hmm. Why these guys need Tommy and need this show and need Oprah Network to like actually get a relationship, because this is weird activity that you're showing me here. You get
very odd.
Yeah, I'm like, so we over here. I asked about your qualities and I asked you about certain things, and you say sex drive. Okay, continue.
Right. Well, Jessica isn't interested in sharing her sex drive with Marie's ex. Mm-hmm. She's saying that is something that me and Marie would have to come to when it is our time, and it's really none of her business. So she tells Jessica, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that with you. And that's the end of that conversation. Well, and rightfully so.
And guess what? I understand.
Yeah.
You know what? Jessica probably thought, oh, sex drive was only the one thing on the list. I got something else on the list you probably want to talk about. Mm-hmm. And what was the next thing they got into?
We got the tarot cards coming out. And she asked, which I'm glad she did ask everyone if she can pull a tarot card for them. This is something that Marie is interested in. Mm-hmm. And Janelle says, no, you cannot pull a card for me.
Listen here, Janelle's my girl. Janelle's my girl, because guess what? I would have been the exact same way. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you could be sometimes somebody could just do things and it catch you off guard.
Yeah.
And you may not really want them to read.
But you just be like, okay.
But you just be like, all right, it is what it is, right? Because that's kind of what I felt like with Jessica. Like Jessica was just like,
she just let it happen.
The one on the show,
right?
Mm-hmm. She was just like, but Janelle was like, no, like no,
absolutely not.
And then when Jessica Jr., the ex of Mario, Marie, did the reading, she ain't really say nothing that is really special.
No,
trust your gut. Mm-hmm. You can find a whole bunch of motivational speeches and stuff like that on YouTube that say the same thing. And that right there, I was like, Blair, put a star next to like that scene right there. Mm-hmm. Because now Marie is sitting there and he's like, oh my God, this date is not going like anything I expected.
Like, what did you think?
What did you thought was going to happen? Did you thought when your ex mentioned sex drive that they was going to say sex positions that they love? Did like you thought they was going to talk about they experiences and things that they want to do with you and things of that nature? And then you thought that y'all was going to have this spiritual connection
over tarot cards with your ex? Like what? And you know that they are strong Christian in the faith women. Like what did you think was going to come of this? It's like you had no forethought.
It's not even that. Like they didn't even come out and say that they are Christian women, but you can guess. You're in Texas. That's like the Bible Belt, ain't it?
Yeah.
So it's like, like you are part of some type of thing that is not normalized amongst your everyday walking down the street type of people. So those are type of things that you gotta like have an eye for that you just don't bring up.
Yeah.
And like he's sitting there like, oh man, I messed this up. First of all, in my opinion, I think he did a terrible job. And you're lucky you got the power this week. I think he did a terrible job because he let his ex control the mood, the pace, the tone of the conversation.
Everything. He was just sitting back watching.
And he was basically like, oh my God, it's going bad, but I'm gonna be quiet. I'm like, no. What did you think about that scene, Blair?
I felt like, one, I think it's okay if you have different beliefs, whatever the case may be.
True.
I feel like Marie, knowing their belief system, he shouldn't have went into it with his ex reading tarot cards and just kind of jumping into it. I feel like he should have expressed to them, hey, this is where I stand with spirituality. These are the things I'm interested in. I would like to share it with you. Like you said, he could have set the pace and provided some education around what he believes.
Listen here.
So even if they're not into it, you can say, okay, well, that's what you're into. It seems like you know a lot about it. Cool. But maybe he don't know much about it, and that's why the ex was doing everything. I don't know.
You're 100% right. First of all, he probably called the ex and probably was like, pack the cards. You get what I'm saying? But as you were saying, he picked two women that he really have no connection with at all. Mm-hmm. So they have nothing to fall back on of your character besides of the extracurricular things that you're doing.
Well, let me say this. Jessica said that they talked on the phone all the time. True. And my thing is, What are y'all talking about?
You ain't bring this up.
What do y'all be talking about?
You didn't bring this up. But
if you're not talking about yourself, your beliefs, your family structure, like these are the things that help you find a partner. So what are these conversations about?
And my thing is, if you're talking to Jessica all the time, you should have known that she was going to say, as for me in my house,
we serve the Lord.
We will serve the Lord.
Right.
So y'all obviously not talking about Jesus on the phone. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So that is a good point. What are you talking about that you thought or that you didn't even command a date that it would at least be a good experience, or rather just not a bad one?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maria, you disappointed me in this one, man.
Yeah. Janelle expresses that she doesn't want someone dabbling in the occult. She wants someone strong in the word of the Lord.
Listen here,
God,
man.
Jesus.
Listen here.
Specifically.
There is nothing that will make someone listen. You don't even gotta you ain't even gotta be a practicing Christian. Mm-hmm. There is nothing that will make people say the Lord's name on TV more than if you were to bring out some cards, a psychic, or some type of
a crystal.
Exactly. They be like, So, like, Maria, you really should have thought better about this. Yeah. You really should have thought better about this. Yeah. Continue.
The next date we have is with Quentin. He brings his ex Bree, who is really not an ex.
Who is she? A friend?
A situationship, a fling.
Yeah.
She expressed that they never really had a relationship. He didn't want to commit. And I think that's the thing. I think you had mentioned before, Quentin is a good looking guy. He's strong.
Did I say this on the show? Or did I say this to you maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
You said it at some point.
No. It's fine. Go ahead.
You're just like, Quentin, he looks like a guy that can get women. He seems to know how to communicate with women. So why is he on the show trying to get women when it looks like he should be able to do it in the outside world?
Yeah.
And we got our answer today.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to commit.
To her.
But I feel like that is also the reason why he's on this show. He hasn't wanted to commit to anybody. And maybe on the show he's willing to commit to somebody. I don't know. But that seems to be his issue. He doesn't want to have that connection with anybody.
She was very bubbly.
Yeah.
Very bubbly. And we didn't even know that he didn't want to commit until they was like deep into the date.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I find it very interesting that he will pick that ex as a way to represent him in a way.
Yeah, of knowing him well and what he wants and needs. Like, it seemed like y'all just was there for a fun time.
I'm like, why would you pick someone that you didn't really commit to? Are you hiding something? I don't know, but let's see how this date went.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions that gets asked is that the women aren't very physical with Quentin at this point.
Yeah.
Is that some sort of barrier that's going on?
Yeah.
And both Lee and Janelle say, well, we're dating multiple people. We just don't want to be kissing and swapping spit with everybody on the cast.
So he's on a date with Janelle and Lee.
Yes.
Okay. I am not a fan of Lee. I made that very clear on this show.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm not a fan of Lee is because this is episode 7, you say, of season. I don't know nothing about Lee.
Yeah.
Nothing about Lee. So I'm hoping to find out something about Lee on this date. So I can at least have a thought about her. You know what I mean? But no, it's very fair that they're not out there like Marvin and Unique.
Yeah.
Kissing on the show for her to be eliminated. Right. You get what I'm saying? It is a dating show, and the physical thing, and the thing about it, which is actually, it just came to mind, and like, I think it gonna make you have a brain blast. Of course, with the ex Bree, right? She will bring up physicality because that's all she had with Quentin.
Exactly. That was the only thing in their relationship.
So, of course, like, we are having these dates with these women that have no depth. You get what I'm saying? We go for Maria with the psychic readings and the sex drive, and then we get to Quentin that goes into physical touch, because that's all she can relate to, because she didn't have a commitment.
Yeah.
So like it just leaves more. It kind of leaves you wanting more, because like these women so far don't really. I'm not gonna say don't really know the men that they was with. But you could kind of tell, like, there was nothing really, no anchor holding their relationship. Well, Quentin
Clearly,
thing.
It wasn't.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, I find it very interesting that that's the question that like she asked them, because that's what she knows. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she expresses that he is very content with being single. And he says that he actually ghosted Lee because of just the show and the other connections and I guess feeling overwhelmed with communicating with multiple people. I think he's only been communicating with Janelle.
Yeah.
But Lee did not take to that well.
No.
And she pretty much retreated during the date and just didn't say anything more, didn't have any more questions. She was really put off by that.
Quentin, I wanted to learn about Lee and you made her go quiet. But I do find it interesting that he did tell himself on that. I was like,
yeah, I thought that was a bad choice.
Not bad, but I was just like, I just find that strange, because I'm like, if she don't bring it up, why am I bringing it up?
Yeah.
But she did go into a shell once that happened. You all right?
Yeah. So they end the date, and Quentin and Bree get to talking about who they think the best match was. Mm-hmm. They both agree that Janelle is, and he expresses that Lee retreated in the date, and he just appreciated Janelle being more outspoken.
Yeah.
And he just didn't think about why she did or what was going on or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I just feel like with Lee, she could have expressed herself in that moment and said something like, "What you mean you ghosted me?" Yeah. Or something to address it, but she didn't. And to me, I feel like Lee's time is ticking to be over soon.
Lee need to show some personality.
Yeah, like
Lee is boring, and I don't know. And like I said, based on what we see on the show, she's boring. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's the whole idea of like dating everybody, being on TV. But outside of her being a wellness coach or things of that nature, I think Quentin really liked Lee based off of appearance and based off of like they both in the same profession and like in some factor.
Yeah.
But Janelle, like, you're on a date. Mm-hmm. You're on a double date. You have to command your time with the person you're on a date with. Mm-hmm. You can't go into a show because you don't have the power this week.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying, and Janelle didn't even really do anything that really took over the date more than just answer the question and kept talking.
Right.
You know, you
kept
just,
the conversation going.
You just can't be quiet and then just nod and smile throughout the thing because like there's really no reason for anybody to keep you here. I don't even know who Lee's connection is, if she have one.
Yeah, I don't feel like she has one.
You know, so like it just like we going on episode 8 next week and I still don't know nothing about Lee.
Yeah.
So yeah, continue.
Next, we have Chris and his ex, Valerie.
Oh, my goodness. This scene got me hot. Go ahead.
And they are having a date with Aries and Jessica.
Uh-huh.
Aries, she comes in, greets everyone, sits down.
Yes.
Jessica comes in. She greets everyone. She even tells the girl, I do hugs. So she gives the girl a hug and sits down.
That's what Jessica did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Chris is saying that the energy in the room shifted when Jessica came in negatively. Mm-hmm. That his ex Valerie was just not feeling her. She came in loud, abrasive, and it was just not a good feel. Mm-hmm. They asked Valerie why their relationship ended, and she says she didn't want to be a forever girlfriend. Valerie is saying that he needs a woman who is a support system for him. Jessica is asking, well, what kind of support? Like going to get his suit steamed or cooking dinner so he has something there? Or like what kind of support does he need? And she says all of the above.
All of the above.
She says some days are just going to be you fully supporting him.
Servitude.
And Jessica asks, okay, well, then what kind of support did you receive in return? Nothing. No support. And that alone right there let me know I don't think either of these women are going to be good for Chris.
Get your issue off. Go ahead, bro.
I think that Chris needs to go back to his ex and marry his ex because she seemed to do what he wanted her to do.
Okay.
And what he asked of her to do if she would take him back. And he just needs to hurry up and move on with the getting married part. Because it seemed to me, she seemed like, and it's hard to say from a very short period of time, but she came across as like a long-suffering person who's willing to do all of that with nothing in return. And she, you know, of course, cut the cord and said, I'm not doing this anymore. But that seemed like the closest thing that Chris needs. With Aries has 2 kids. She is not going to be waiting on you hand and foot.
She can't.
She cannot. And Jessica, I think that Jessica would grow into that, but she's not going to be spending all day, all night worried about you and supporting you when she has her own stuff going on, and she's going to be wanting things to be reciprocated. Just like when they had the talk about, like, you need to reach out to me. He said, well, you haven't reached out to me. So she's trying to build some form of a 50-50 relationship here. Yeah. Well, what did you think about that?
Thank you for giving me the floor.
Yes.
Chris, you get on my nerves, man. And next week I want you to go home. Because these propaganda things, these propaganda news, this propaganda accusations you putting on Jessica is doing more harm than good. Yeah. Is doing more harm than good. Jessica did not come in loud. When she went to go get a hug, the ex did not stand up at all. Yeah. And then at the end of it, y'all had y'all little gossip meeting or whatever y'all call it, basically saying like, yeah, that girl Jessica. And I'm like, oh, y'all act alike. Y'all even feel things and see things that's not even there the same way. Jessica have not shown, and here's the thing about it. One thing Chris has been saying is, I want someone who is not strong with me. I'm paraphrasing. You get what I'm saying? Basically, a softer side. Jessica have not shown anything hard towards you. So what are you talking about? When you was leaving for your little, let me not be disrespectful. When you was leaving for your award, she was the one that walked you around and made sure you didn't get eliminated that week. Even though I don't think you was going to get eliminated that week. That was Red's week to go. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The writing was on the wall.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall.
In red.
The man was yelling in the corner somewhere. Like, I think you were safe, brother. Right. You know what I mean? But she took you around to make sure that, hey, this is my boy Chris, things of that nature. And she made sure that she took you around to everybody, and basically so everybody can feel good and everybody can feel good about you and you can compliment everybody. Then when it was time for a date a week or 2 after, she came to your job in her heels, walking on the dirt with a lunch pail, brought you lunch and things of that nature. Where is the hardness? I'm waiting to see it. I'm 7 episodes in. Where is this tough shell that you think Jessica has? And that's what usually happens with women that's basically assertive and basically direct
and outspoken.
And outspoken. And I'm not even talking about outspoken in the sense of she knowing when to speak and not knowing when to speak. I'm not even talking about that way. It's these cold words and these cold sentences and these cold accusations that is not even fair. Because what I think is when he sees Aries, right? Aries. I'm going to get your name right one of these days. When he sees Aries, he over there crying in his house, talking about when he see her, he sees his mother. Well, guess what? Just because you may not see your mother in Jessica does not mean that she's not nurturing. And I honestly don't even see what's so nurturing about Aries besides her having 2 kids. And I'm not saying she's not. I'm just saying, like, she is a mother.
And she hasn't shown it to you. You were sitting there boo-hooing.
You were sitting there crying, and she looked at you.
That's what she did.
She ain't hold you.
She ain't hug you.
She ain't rock you.
Nothing.
No.
Like, oh, come on. Chris,
no.
It's okay. She didn't do none of
that.
that.
And you over here comparing this girl to Aries. And she got a stronger connection with Philip. So I'm like this mold of what you think a woman is and how she needs to be soft with you. Jessica have shown softness with you. And my thing is, be careful with those cold words, because for what you do, Chris, you need a Jessica. And I'm not talking about Jessica like personally, but I'm just talking about someone who will be assertive, someone who will take the initiative, someone who will be direct. Because if you really have no time to be a servant or to actually serve like your family or like the person you with,
to be in the household,
you want somebody who can run the house without having to call and basically like feel safe that your family's safe. That, and like, I was disappointed in you, man, because that is not fair for Jessica. You putting these seeds in people's head. You got people thinking that she's like this aggressive woman that she haven't shown that to be on this show or even with you personally. You gotta do better, man. You gotta do better.
Yeah, I think honestly it's a personality difference.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And I just think that he doesn't favor Jessica's personality. He's not feeling it.
That's all.
But you're right. He doesn't have to accuse her of being aggressive.
This propaganda news.
And all this type of stuff. But he could just say, you know what? I just don't rock with her personality.
If he would have said that about Unique. Right? I probably would have been like, I could kind of see what you mean. I wouldn't say aggressive, but I could see defensive. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? But she would tell you herself that, hey, I'm being defensive. Yeah. I've been through a lot. Yeah. And I don't want it to happen to me again. I can see with that. But Jessica, I feel like she wants, this is what I feel. And now this is my opinion. Yeah. I feel like she is waiting for a consistent commitment to show you who she is. She's showing you little glimpses. Oh yes, I will. Oh yes, I will compliment you. I'll be there for you. Oh yeah, I'll bring lunch for you. Mm-hmm. But I kind of have an issue that like, you're not giving me nothing back. Mm-hmm. So why would I give all of myself to someone who may not even pick me at the end on a show that I can get eliminated? Yeah. And he is having this love affair with this motherly personality that's just like, let it go. Yeah. Let it go. Accept Jessica for who she is. Please. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Jessica.
Right. Moving on.
Yeah.
I
was very upset about that.
We are with Herbert and his ex Melanie. He invites Janelle.
Hey, Janelle, you are the star of the show. Oh, you're going to every date, it seems like, right?
Exactly. Everybody's feeling Janelle. So Melanie is asking Janelle if she wants to have kids. Mm-hmm. What does it look like for family in her future? Mm-hmm. And Janelle expresses that she wants to be a parent. She doesn't necessarily have to birth her own children. Mm-hmm. She would be willing to adopt.
I like that.
Yeah. And Herbert, it was a shock to him. He said he would like to have his own biological kids. And just like how Janelle and Quentin, when they had their date, Quentin didn't know that Janelle was adopted. I'm thinking Herbert doesn't know she's adopted. And that's why she's open to that and passionate about it.
And truth be told, mm-hmm. I think she said it before, but when she said it to Quentin, I was like, oh, I didn't know that either. Yeah. So if it was said, it was said in passing and it wasn't made known. But the reason why I like that she said that was that she lives in reality.
Yeah, she's 41.
She's 41. So she said, I would love to have my own child, but I know, like, mm-hmm. I'm 41. But I also think because she was adopted, if she was younger and had her own kid, mm-hmm. I think she would have tried to adopt somebody as well, too, because she was adopted and she kind of knows how that
feels as a child.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they are talking about timelines and asking Janelle, well, when do you want to get married? Mm-hmm. What does it look like for you? Since you are an older woman dating. Mm-hmm. And Janelle expresses, well, I want to be engaged by the end of the year, hoping to be married by the next year.
Hopefully it's January.
Right. Herbert is very slow with mm-hmm. how he moves.
Slow motion.
Right. And that is just not in the cards for him. He expresses to us in the confessional, look, I'm old, but I'm not that old to where I got to be rushing to get married. I feel like Herbert, you are. You need to go ahead and figure out what you're doing.
Wow. You ain't like that?
No, I feel like Herbert is old enough to, if you want to start a family and be in a relationship and all of that, then you should. He probably should have been started 10 years ago, but he hasn't. He's moving at snail's pace. Mm-hmm. Then he needs to get with somebody and start his family if that's what he really wants. When I feel like people move that slow of a pace and they don't talk about making it come into fruition, then I feel like they don't actually really want it. And you're over here dating women in your own age bracket. As you're getting older, they're getting older, and mm-hmm. the possibility for family biologically is getting slimmer and slimmer. Mm-hmm. So what, you're going to be 50 dating a 30-year-old? I mean, you can, but it doesn't seem like that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
some about these men. Yeah. So far, like I said, these dates are just revealing who these men are and why they on this show in the first place. Commitment seemed to be the problem with all these men. Yeah. That Quentin didn't want to commit. Herbert's taking his time and things of that nature. He's slow motion. You would think that these things would be things of the past. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? It'd be like, during my relationship, I was slow and things of that nature, but yes, I do want to be engaged, or I do want to be on that road. Here's the thing about it. Even though Janelle said directly what she wanted, I think if you give her a strong enough commitment, she will negotiate with you.
Yeah.
But it can't be we date for 3 years. Like, I don't think she wait for 3 years.
Yeah.
I think if you were to actually commit to her and be like, hey, we just met each other this year, I think getting engaged at the end of the year is kind of too soon. But I promise that if you stay with me and we get to learn each other, like, you will get that engagement soon. And she have every right at her age to be like, yeah, I don't want to wish on a star.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to waste any more years.
But at the same time,
waiting for a guy to be ready.
But at the same time, Herbert, I don't think that was a good response to someone that is basically ready to commit.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, her two strongest connections is Quentin and Herbert, and they seem to have the same problem. Mm-hmm. He won't commit to, or he didn't commit to Bree, and Herbert is slow motion. It's not even so much that Herbert was a bad guy. Mm-hmm. He just liked things at his own pace. And with Janelle, I can understand the sense of urgency, especially when it comes to not just her, but women in general.
Yeah. And our reproductive
timeline. Yeah, like we have the benefit to be able to do it forever. We have to be respectful to women's timeline and be like, you know what? It makes sense why you want a stronger commitment, because you're on lifetime and your time.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that is understandable, Janelle.
Yeah. When Melanie and Herbert, when Janelle leaves, they talk about the date and how Melanie feels about Janelle. Mm-hmm. Melanie doesn't think that Janelle has the patience for Herbert. And I don't know who has the patience for Herbert.
She said it. She said it.
Yeah, I don't know who would have the patience for Herbert, honestly. If he's moving this slow, he's not calling Janelle, communicating with her. Mm-hmm. To me, it seems like Herbert don't want to be in a relationship or doesn't want to do the work to be in one.
You may be right, Blair. You may be right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Next, we have Morier with his ex, Jessica, and they're taking Sierra out on a solo date with her and them.
Okay.
Morier, he's expressing to us that Sierra seems like a homegirl. She has a really cool vibe.
I said that.
And he just doesn't really know how that would translate to a relationship. He's hoping that it would be a good thing, but he can't see outside of the homegirl situation.
I don't like you like that, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they touch on why Morier is no longer with Jessica. Mm-hmm. And he says, they also ask Sierra, how do you feel about an ex, a man being friends with his ex? She said, well, that would be new to me. I don't usually like men being friends with their ex because they're known to dibble and dabble. Mm-hmm. And Morier says, oh, no, that's not going to happen with us. I missed my opportunity. I messed up, da-da-da. Mm-hmm. Sierra, she was over there like, you missed your opportunity. So if given the chance, you would have her back if she would let you. That sounded like an odd response to being moved on from your ex versus saying, oh, she's the one that got away.
Yeah.
Morier, yeah. So that was pretty much the end of their date.
Yeah, nothing really happened in their date.
Yeah.
She didn't pull out the cards.
No.
You know, they ain't talk about sex drive. But I don't see the connection between them two either. No. I think Morier is just a cool guy that likes, you know what I mean? Like a cool guy that you just talk to and things of that nature. But like I said, he haven't shown himself in these dates that he can control as well to reveal himself. Like you said, he loves black people. He likes to be. He works in that field and things of that nature. Show us like some of the work you've done.
Yeah, teach us something.
You know what I mean? So like Morier, he's trying to fix what he messed up with Janelle and Jessica with Sierra, and I'm like, you still ain't showing me anything. It didn't go as bad. But I do think what Sierra did joke about was the idea that him being close with Jessica, them being friends or best friends or anything like that, it could bring up a red flag to someone who is new to the relationship, to someone who is new to the union.
Yeah, you got to establish those boundaries. Y'all can't just be hanging out and chopping it up on the phone all the time. Yeah. Next, we have Philip with his ex, Amira.
And what's funny is that Kira was thinking that Quentin was the one dating white girls. It was Philip the whole time.
I'm about to say Philip.
I don't know if Amira was white, or I think she might have been Latina, but she wasn't black.
I'm about to say, like,
Kira was questioning the wrong guy.
I think once you in that Texas line, that Dallas line, you gonna get a mixture of white, Mexican, whatever it is. Yes, you got the wrong guy, Kira. Okay, it's Philip.
Right. So Kira and Kat meet up at Philip's house to meet up with him and Amira. And he, they expressed why they broke up because he wasn't very affectionate. Kat says that, well, affection is very important to me. I need physical touch.
Yeah.
And Kira also feels the same way.
Yeah.
They both dated men with kids, and Philip has a child. So they're trying to figure out how would they feel about dating Philip with him having a child.
Oh boy, Kira.
Kat expresses, I've done it before. I've dated men with kids, and that's something I'm open to.
Yeah.
Kira says she's dated men in the past with kids before too, but she would prefer a man who does not have children.
While she's on a date with a man
that has a child. So, was there anything wrong with Kira said? Whatever her preference is, no, but read the room, girl.
You're on a date with a guy that has a kid.
And you're in his house. Like, what do you think is going to come of that, you know?
My kid heard you.
Exactly.
So it's like, Kira, you just, I don't know what it is, but certain things, put it like this. I know it's a dating show, Blair, but it's, in my eyes, certain things you got to operate like it's a game. Even if you don't have a connection with Philip, don't let him be a vote to get you off the show. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? When they got the power. You say that when you got the power and you're safe. Yeah. But I'm like, Kira, like that.
And give him a week to think about
it. Exactly. You're right.
Yeah. With Kira, I really felt like she should have self-eliminated earlier. She really doesn't seem to like any of the guys, and all the confessionals before the date, during the date, she's talking about something she don't like. Yeah. Why are you here?
Yeah, eliminate yourself from the show. Don't self-eliminate. Self-eliminate yourself from the show.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yes, from the show. Yeah, Jesus. like, we don't feel that strongly about you, girl. We need you here in life.
Don't add me to that. You said that. Okay. Like I was like, you should self-eliminate. I'm like, Lord.
From the show.
Yes. You're right. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Okay. Then we are meeting up with Mira, Philip, and Aries.
This is the date Philip really wanted right here. You know what I mean?
And Amira expresses the thing again about Philip wasn't very affectionate in their relationship. And Aries says, we don't have that problem. Actually, he's touching my leg under the table right now as we speak.
She telling us that in the confessional.
In the confessional.
Like Philip over here getting a feel on while like he's on a date on like a triple date basically. Yeah. And I, truth be told, this is actually what I prefer a date to be, in the sense of I want the ex to say something that was a problem in their relationship that the person dating them or the person that's courting them do not see it in their relationship.
Right, they self-correct.
Exactly.
They change in some
so
type
even
of way.
if it was true, the fact that Aries don't like, she like, I can't relate. Yeah. And it kind of shows improvement in that besides like them seeing the same issue. You don't want somebody that don't know you, right? Come talk to an ex of yours, and your ex said they have a problem with this, and then the person who don't know you be like, yeah, I see that. Yeah. Like you want some type of self-correction to show that there's been some growth from the time that you broke up with your last person to the person that you're courting. So yeah, I did like that part. Yeah. Yep.
And his ex also expresses, Amira, that he wants someone to accept him and his son. And Aries is like, easy peasy. Because I want the same thing for my kids.
I have two, you have one. That's
exactly.
Easy.
No problem.
I'm about to say, like, check. Right. Great date.
Exactly. So that really was a great date. Yeah. And the ex, Amira, she really believes that Aries is the best choice for him.
Sorry, Chris. Yeah. This nurturing, soft woman that you think you want, she got a strong connection with somebody else. Yeah. But like, I'm off you. Right.
We get back to the men's lounge. Yeah. And we are discussing the women. Quentin likes Janelle being bold, and he's expressing that Lee did shut down during the date. Janelle is the one that his ex chose for him.
Okay.
Herbert, his timeline conversation with Janelle didn't really go well. He feels like she's moving fast, and that is just not how he's moving.
What do you mean? The show is called Ready
to Love.
To Love.
You should be ready, and you just need the right person to plop down in your life.
It means that you showed up when we did the introduction of who the cast was. You showed up ready to love. Hey.
A lot of these men ain't ready.
No.
Yeah. Maury is saying that his dates with Janelle and Jessica went awful.
Yeah.
And he said that he needed another J there. He needed Jesus in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is expressing that he lost 2 connections with the tarot cards, and Sierra is the only one left. And they're telling him, well, Maury, don't just go with whoever's left. Who do you really want to be with? Who do you really connect with?
I don't think he's ready for love.
Well, he expresses that he really still wants Jessica, but I agree with you. The communication piece with these guys is awful.
Yeah.
And expressing themselves, where they're coming from, is awful. Like, that's why I felt when they got rid of Chris. I felt like Chris was probably the best at explaining himself and communicating. I even appreciated the conversation he had with Sierra about the Birkin bag, and okay, you want the bag, but, you know, let's get deeper. What would happen if I couldn't afford it for you? Like, I felt like he was a man who was having a conversation about everything.
Even though it may have sounded like an interview, at least you get to know
about him.
Exactly. More than sex drive and psychic cars and things of that nature. You're right.
Right. I think they missed out on him.
Yeah.
Next, we have Chris, who was saying the energy was off with Jessica.
Oh, my God, Chris. My energy is off with you,
energy was off.
My energy is off with you, bro. I do not like that type of talk. Especially when me and Blair was having this conversation off camera, and me and her was going back to episodes in the past. I'm like, where's this, like, energy that you speak of that's off? She's always inviting and things of that nature. Maybe, like I said, maybe you need to go back to your ex. I think her name was Valerie or Val or something like that. Maybe you need to go back to your ex and be with her. Because like Blair said,
Jessica.
Yeah. Hold on. Who?
Maury's ex was.
No, I'm not.
You're talking about Chris.
I'm talking about Chris' ex. I think his ex name was Val.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. Maybe you need to go back to her. As Blair said, she looked like she's long suffering and she already been through it. She already got her scars and things of that nature.
All she needs is a ring.
Exactly. Just go back with her, please. Yeah. I'm done with this. Jessica is like mean and strong and rough and tough with her afro puffs. Like, no, I'm tired of these accusations. I'm tired of it.
Yeah. Next, Philip suggests that, well, Philip says that his strongest connection was Aries.
Yeah.
Then we move on to the eliminate. They take out Sierra and Kira. The reasons that they have with Sierra, they just aren't getting a deeper connection with her.
No, she's the homie.
Yeah, she's very jokey and playing around. And with Kira, the whole black culture thing comes up. Another thing that Kira said came up from Maury, where she said she doesn't feel comfortable in spaces with a lot of black people. Do you know what show you're on, girl?
Yeah.
I feel like she just be saying stuff. She does not pay attention to her audience and who she's talking to.
And she's tired of that keep getting brought up whenever her name is brought up, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing really nice people really say about Kira yet.
No.
Besides, she don't like black people.
But they like her energy. They like her bubbly personality.
That is just a cold word for, like, you know, she cool, but, you know. Uh-huh.
Well, Kira is...
Oh, no. Please don't tell me.
She is eliminated from the show.
She's not ready to love.
You are not ready to love. She says, I am ready to love. And this is a mutual agreement. I wasn't feeling nobody anyway. So I'm out.
As Blair said, you should have self-eliminated
from the show.
You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't feeling nobody.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, so that's where we leave off. I'm looking forward to see what's coming up. Usually towards the end, they have them go to like a resort to where they stay in a house.
Are we there yet?
I think we're getting close to there.
Okay.
I think it should be next week, if not the following week. And then we get to see how they connect with each other, being around each other like 24 hours over a weekend and how that goes.
Yes.
It's a little bit more interesting when people actually have deeper connections with multiple people. I feel like this season, the connections are kind of weak. I feel like.
Oh, so this ain't one of the better seasons that like you've seen so far up to this point,
right? Okay. Because when they get to the resort stay and they're all staying in this house, it really is interesting to watch. Like a guy, he might be over here cooking with his girl that he has a connection with, and the other girl is sitting in the other room talking about he ain't giving me no attention this whole weekend, and they came over here with matching pajama sets, and I ain't get the memo.
Oh man, I should have watched 2 seasons ago or something like that.
Exactly. So I'm interested to see how that'll go, but we'll see. How do you feel about the episode?
Well, this episode was cool. So far, how I feel about the season. This is my first time watching the season in full, so I'm kind of just going into it blind. I like the show. I think all these people are beautiful. Yeah. Even the exes are beautiful and things like that. So I am very intrigued by the show. I probably will watch next season as well. But I do want to see the resort. Maybe there's a connect. But like you said, it does feel like everybody already got their person.
Right.
So it probably won't feel that type of tug and pull at the resort. But we will see. I haven't seen it, so I'm very interested about the resort part.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank y'all for stopping by.
Please
like, comment, subscribe, share.
One thing though. I want to call an audible, so just flow with me for a second, right? Right now, I'm going to post. Right now, what you see right now is a schedule of the shows that's coming out that we are going to review. Right?
A lot coming in the fall.
A lot. We gonna be busy in the fall for y'all.
Yeah.
Right. So in the comments below, if you're watching the show, if you're a fan of our reviews of the show, let us know what show did we miss based on the list. This is not all the shows. This is not a list in stone. We will add and maybe even take away based on the feedback. On the show, based on the feedback. And one of the shows that we are doing is Sister Wives.
Oh yeah.
We personally invite everyone and Mrs. Kev on stage. We are a big fan of The Bald and the Beautiful. Shout out to Tank, Angel, Kev, Mrs. Frederick. We are big fans. To come review with us. Watch with us. That's a personal invite to everyone and Mrs. Fredericks to come join us on this Sister Wives journey. Y'all be good. Blessings.
Bye.